Hello, ninthers. I guess you all have seen that there has been a few changes in the syllabus, and it has been said by the council that 25% of the syllabus has been reduced. Before that, and as you all are just able to hear my voice and not see who is behind this video, so let me just Sir Siddharth once again. And this video is about weathering, the formation of soil. That is the next chapter. And when we talk of weathering, soil formation, rocks formation, all of these are nearly connected. Why do I say connected? Because when rocks are formed, after rocks are formed, rocks get weathered. That is, rocks start breaking down, or breaking down of rocks. That happens. Breaking down of rocks, and after the rocks are broken down, the rocks again due to, and they pass through many other processes, and what happens is they again go down into the mantle, and rocks, they again reach the mantle. And after the rocks reach the mantle, you all know we have been talking about this in the previous videos, what happens when a rock layer, or what happens when some part of the crust goes inside the mantle. It again melts, and again what happens is that it becomes a part of the mantle, and due to volcanism, again newer rocks are formed. So this is what you know as, or this is what is known as the rock cycle. So what happens in the rock cycle is that rocks are formed, rocks come out due to volcanism, newer rocks, that is the igneous rocks, they come out volcanism. Then there is breaking down of rocks, rocks get changed into different other forms, and you have the, in between you have two other kinds of rocks, that is sedimentary rocks, and this you also have the metamorphic rocks. So these two kinds of rocks are formed. Then again what happens is that due to some earthly processes, the rocks again reach the mantle, then again the rocks, they melt. Then there is again volcanism, and rocks come out on surface. So this is what you know as the, or this is what is known as the rock cycle. So this is your rock cycle. And why did I talk of the rock cycle when I started about weathering? Because you have to know how rocks are forming, and what is you have to know about the entire life history of a rock. And it is the rocks which are getting weathered. It is those rocks which give us soil. It is those rocks which is giving us so many other different kinds of earthly materials which you are finding on the surface of the earth. So these rocks are formed, and after that rocks, they change it, and the rocks undergo lots and lots of other processes of weathering, and eventually the rocks again go back into the mantle. Again there is volcanism, and the rocks again come up. So this is the rock cycle which is happening. Now when we are talking of the rock cycle, you have also learned something about two forces on the earth, that is the, or two processes, the exogenic and the endogenic. Now when I talk of the exogenic forces and the endogenic forces, we have been talking about, when we talked about volcanoes and earthquakes, faulting and folding, all of that was coming under the exogenic forces. So those forces responsible for the uplift and the formation of rocks. So newer Earth's crust, or newer crust, is formed, and all of this is happening because of endogenic forces. We all have talked about, or we do know about this from the previous videos, that due to folding, faulting, there is earthquake, there is volcanism, and newer rocks are formed. Rocks again come out onto the surface, crust is formed. Then there is a mountain formation. You have the mountain formation also is a part of this endogenic forces, the mountain formation due to the folding. or mountain formation due to faulting. So all of this is or all of these things are formed by the endogenic forces. But then what is exogenic forces? Now endogenic forces give us all these things. It is the endogenic forces which, or the exogenic forces. It is the exogenic forces which acts upon the different kinds of earth or different kinds of earth materials. The exogenic forces act on these mountains, plateaus, acts on those new, or acts on the crust, and it is the exogenic forces which is continuously causing the degradation. What is degradation? Degradation is nothing but the weathering or the breaking down. So degradation or breaking down. So there is the breaking down of rocks, not only of rocks, of the high mountains, the plateaus. So all of the crust is broken down by the exogenic forces. The endogenic forces are more powerful, and they happen over a very short period of time. Exogenic forces not as powerful as the endogenic forces, but they take place over a very long period of time, and that is why over the, or when we talk of a large period of time, it is the exogenic forces which is actually more powerful, because it is acting over a long period of time. And most of the exogenic forces, there are the, or you have read it in the previous classes, it is the most importantly the agents of erosion. The agents of erosion, you all know, most famous ones: water, wind, glacier. Now we have to understand one thing about it. There is a concept in geography which is called the theory of isostasy. There is the theory of isostasy. Stacy. What is this theory? It says that there is always a balance, or the crust. You all know, I have been talking from the previous videos that the crust of the earth is floating okay, spelling over here, over the liquid mantle. You all, or I guess I have been talking a lot about this. So the crust of the earth is floating over the liquid mantle. As you know that anything which is floating, if I am talking of, suppose this is the mantle, liquid mantle, and let me just talk of a mountain. It is a part of the crust. So I'm talking of this mountain which is floating on this liquid mantle. Now as it is floating on this liquid mantle, you all know that let me take another example. If this is water, if this is water over here, and if I am talking of a ship, okay, a ship is here, okay, a boat, sorry. So this boat has only one person, forgive my drawing, and there is another boat. I'm not marking its bottom because I have my own reasons now. It has, okay, so two persons. So the weight of these this one person is 50 kilograms, and the weight of these two persons combined is somewhere around 150 kilograms. Now you will tell me, in which of the cases, which boat A or boat B, which of these two boats will be much more submerged in water? If your answer is B, you are very, very correct. This boat B will be more submerged in water than this boat A. If one person goes away from this boat, what happens is this boat will move, or the submergence of the boat will reduce, and this boat will go up. If the other person also goes away, the boat will be floating somewhere in this form. You all understand this. This is also happening in the case of the Earth's crust and the liquid mantle. The Earth's crust, when it is heavy, it is much of it is, there is something called the root of a mountain. So this mountain root is much inside the Earth's crust. Oh, sorry, the mountain root is much, yes, much inside, submerged. What happens is that because it is heavy, and that is why it has sunk more in the liquid mantle, or it is giving much more pressure on the liquid mantle. It is sinking more inside the crust. What happens is that as this mountain, as the agents of erosion, wind, glaciers, water, as they start cutting this mountain, what will happen is that this mountain's, suppose this part goes off, this part due to erosion, due to weathering, this part is off. What happens gradually is that this upper part, or the part which was, this mountain starts getting lighter. As it starts getting lighter, the root pushes the root, some part of the root comes up. So what happens is that the balance is maintained, I guess. Okay, let me just try to make it more clear to you all. As this crust is getting eroded, as this mountain is getting eroded, it is getting lighter, and as it is getting lighter, some part of it is coming up on the surface. So the height is remaining nearly the same. Why? Because as much amount is going outside, or as much amount is getting weathered or eroded, that much amount of the mountain is coming upwards onto the crust. It is not getting sunk anymore, it is becoming lighter, and it is moving upwards. This process keeps on continuing until the entire mountain root is exposed. This area, this entire area which was underneath the Earth's crust, so this part also starts coming up, and the entire mountain root, a time will come when the mountain will be this way, and this will be the mantle. You can see there is no more root inside. Over here we had the root inside, over here there is no more root, because due to the gradual erosion, the root, this mountain started getting lighter, and the root started moving upwards. And after this, when it starts getting eroded, it will be just getting reduced in height, and a time will come when the mountain will be no more there, and gradually it will become a plateau. And as this also keeps on getting eroded, it will become a plain land. So this is more or less what weathering does, or this is the actual process of weathering, or how the different land features, they start getting weathered and eroded. The process which I talked over here is called gradation. Gradation is nothing but the reduction in the height of the different relief features found on the earth, gradually due to the erosion, or due to the agents of weathering and erosion. And as the height keeps on decreasing, gradually the root starts coming up, and a time will come when the entire root is exposed, and that the whole relief feature or the mountain will be weathered, and you will be at the end, there will be no more mountain, there will be a plateau, and the plateau also starts getting weathered, and in the end we get a plain land. So this is what is known as gradation. Gradation is nothing but the leveling of the land. So there was a mountain, but gradually it got leveled by the exogenic forces. So this was more or less about gradation. This was a short introduction about weathering, gradation and erosion. We'll be discussing more on this or more on these in the upcoming videos. Till then, please stay safe, be safe. If you did have any problem, please ask me, or please let me know in the comment section, so that I can get back to you. Thank you.